Hello, my name is Keith Palmer. I'm with Palmer House Properties. Just want to take a moment to thank you for joining me today for the Palmer Report. This section is called "What's Going On with the Market," and the I get that question quite a bit. If I go to a social gathering, the minute I introduce myself as an agent, the next question I get is, "How's the market?" And I think a lot of people tend to look at the uh, take a look at the COVID-19 pandemic, and they looked at it and said, "Wow, the market must have slowed down." So I think we maybe would get a pretty good price on our house if we're actually looking. And the homeowners are concerned about the fact that a lot of people are out of work, and that means that that means that a lot of people should be losing jobs. So that should decrease the home values. But let's take a quick look at exactly what happened over the last few months. As we know, that we've been in shutdown mode. Many people, they weren't looking for houses. They weren't, and a lot of homeowners were not putting their homes on the market because they were afraid to have people walk through. So, so basically, let's take a look at how do we go about determining home values. Home values are determined just like everything else in our society. And when you start, if there's high demand and low supply, you normally have a higher price. When there's low demand and high supply, that means the prices begin to decrease. But during the pandemic, we had a unique situation. Before it started, we had a situation where the market was what we call red hot. It's what we call a seller's market, meaning that there wasn't enough supply of houses out there. Normally, we look for a good market to be about 6 months supply of homes to sell. And before the pandemic, we had a market of about 3 to 4 months of supply. But so right now, but looking at after the pandemic, we need to take a look at where we are. I think most buyers, when they thought about the pandemic, they're thinking they're gonna get a pretty good deal, because obviously no one's out there looking, so the house has to go down in value. But we had something strange happen. The fact that it almost things stayed pretty much the way it was, because there was no one out there looking, and there was no one, and a lot of homeowners took the house off the market. So that means that they can't. So it means that the market situation is pretty much the same. And there was one big thing that happened during the pandemic, and that was the fact that the banks decided to do what they call provide forbearance for a lot of homeowners. Because even though the economy slowed down and we had a lot of people losing their jobs, the market stayed pretty much the same, because the fact that the banks held tight when it came down to giving a lot of homeowners what we call a forbearance, so they didn't have to make payments during the pandemic, and that saved a lot of people's homes, so there wasn't a rush to foreclosures. So that helped a lot. So if you want to take a look at, first of all, how did it impact home values? Home values pretty much right now, the market is still pretty strong. We still have a lot of buyers out there that's looking for houses. I did the open house a couple of weeks ago, and I had over 20 people come in to take a look at one house that we were holding open. And so people are still, there's what we call pent-up demand. So the bottom line is that there are no deals. There's, the values are still pretty sound, and from the way things are looking right now, look like we're gonna have a pretty good summer and the rest of the year. So I expect values to be strong, and I expect the demand to be strong, and homeowners will still continue to get a pretty good value for their property. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye bye.